Technology is an integral part of our lives. We use it every day, and it extends our access to information through things we can't even see. With technology surrounding us and growing at such a fast rate, knowledge of how to use this resource and stay safe in the meantime is imperative. Welcome to CyberSafe News and Views, where we answer questions and share information to keep you in the know and cyber safe.
Hello and welcome to CyberSafe News and Views. My name is Lee Frazier and I'll be your guide. Let's get started. Welcome to episode 4. In this week's episode, we're going to be diving into the cybersecurity news of the week that's relevant to small business owners. We also have an update from last week's news articles with some additional information that's been found. And we've got an animated article that is important to all business owners, and that's passwords. How do I keep all my passwords safe, secure, synchronized, and make sure that I have secure access to all my different platforms, social media, banking, all the different things that you do. We're going to be talking about multi-factor authentication, biometrics, etc. If you need to ask questions, let us know. Let's get started. This week in cybersecurity news and events that are relevant to the small business owner, in a news article that was released this last week, the article talked about worms, not the ones you put on your fish hook and you go fishing with, but the ones that are possibly on your computers right now. It talked about how they exploit vulnerabilities, how they gather information, and they can share that information out. Now, this type of cybersecurity hack or event doesn't necessarily end up in a ransomware event. Matter of fact, you don't even really know that you have a worm or that your information has been exposed. This one is absolutely critical for you to be educated on, aware of, and have some type of software implemented to evaluate, do you have a worm, and to make sure that you don't, because otherwise it could be a keylogger logging your passwords for your banking application, which we're going to talk about in our animated video today. It could be just mining your information, getting it off of the device. It could be used as a bot to try and disable other sites with a denial of service attack. So it's very important that you are educated on worms, what that means to you, and that you don't have one. So now we need to deworm businesses. Unfortunately, yes, I hate the reference, but it's true. Article number 2 talks about a phishing hack. Again, not the ones with worms, but phishing with an email that resulted in a $500,000 loss for a county in Iowa. This county received, an individual person received a phishing hack that looked relevant, looked real. If you are educated on phishing at all and you think, oh, well, it's going to have bad grammar, bad English, the wrong use of words, or stretched images. I saw that one in a quiz recently. Don't believe it. The phishing hacks today are valid and they look real. If you don't know exactly how to identify them, you are at risk of being hacked. This county, this one individual transferred $500,000 to a valid payment, they thought, and it's gone. There's no way to get anything back. The money's just lost. Now, how is that relevant to you? If you get phished, and they're going to be intelligent about your phishing. If you get phished and they ask you, oh, you haven't paid your electric bill, and it's at all possible, suddenly, yeah, $300, $500, whatever your electric bill might look like typically becomes a valid, oh, I need to pay that. They're going to shut me off today. Stop. Make sure you validate the source. If it has any chance of being real, go to that company's website, log in, and evaluate. Was that a fish, or was it a valid email? Basically, don't trust email. Sorry. And in our last article this week, Wise, the company, admits to 13,000 users' cameras being accessed. Now, I realize that most small businesses don't use Wise terminals, but I do have some that use Wise terminals. Wise terminals are basically a dumb computer, lightweight, relatively inexpensive, that do nothing but connect back to a server to give you access to whatever you need access to. So it's a lightweight PC, easier to control from an IT point of view. Well, these devices had cameras. Those cameras were exposed to other people who might have wanted to see it or might not have, but that information was admitted to by Wise that it was accidentally exposed. Now, could that have been out of your environment? Most definitely. And I don't think we have enough information about this yet to determine where did that information go. But if you like working in your PJs, be careful, cover up that camera. Personally, I'm not a conspiratist that thinks you need to cover all cameras. But then if you work in any kind of compromised environment where you might not have a shirt on, or it's ratty, you don't want to have a bad exposure to, looking like what you might sit down to your desk first thing in the morning, cover those cameras. Update. Last week, we talked about the website Change Healthcare that had been hacked and down for over a week. And last week, we also talked about a vulnerability in the Screen Connect program from ConnectWise. Well, those were two separate articles. This week, they're combined. The ConnectWise hack was what caused the Change Healthcare site to go down. It was accessed, it was remotely accessed, and it was taken offline. So now, how is this relevant to you? It's relevant in the first thing. If you're using an IT company, it's very possible that they could be using this program. They hold a large share of the market, and it works very well. And the problem with that is if your IT company that uses this to assist you with running your business, they don't stay current on the current events, then you're hacked and it's their fault and you didn't even know it. So stay current on the current events, what's going on in the cybersecurity arena, and if you need help, leave us a comment. Now, in today's article that we're going to talk about, our animated series, we're going to talk about passwords. So take a listen to this.
In today's episode, we're diving into the fascinating world of authentication and the layers of security that keep our online lives intact. Authentication is the gatekeeper of our digital identities. Virtually being able to prove that you are exactly who you say you are, we're breaking down the main types of authentication into 3 cool categories tailor-made for businesses like yours. Knowledge-based authentication. This is something you know. This is the classic stuff. Passwords and PINs. Passwords are like secret handshakes, alphanumeric strings only known to the user. PINs are numeric codes, think debit or credit card vibes. Possession-based authentication. This is something you have. Now we're getting fancy with smart cards. Those plastic wonders with microprocessors and security tokens, physical devices that dish out one-time codes, and don't forget mobile authentication, where your trusty smartphone becomes a key, generating codes or receiving SMS verifications. Biometric authentication. This is something you are. This is the sci-fi part that you sometimes see in the movies. Fingerprint recognition, facial recognition, retina iris scans, voice recognition, and even analyzing behavior like typing speed or mouse movements. But wait, there's more. Combine factors from these categories and you get the superhero of authentication. Multi-factor authentication, also known as MFA. Picture this: a password plus an SMS code, a fingerprint scan plus a smart card, or a PIN plus facial recognition. It's like having a vault with a secret code. And a retina scan? Double trouble for any unauthorized individuals trying to sneak in. Now, let's talk security because we know you're all about keeping your business safe. Knowledge-based authentication. Passwords and PINs are solid, but they need some love. Complexity, length, and user behavior matter. The longer the password is, and the more types of characters that are used, the better. Also, be careful to safeguard your passwords, but don't make them easy for people to find by writing them down and hiding them under the keyboard, or saving them in a document titled Passwords, for example. Watch out for sneaky attacks like brute force, phishing, and password reuse. More on this in just a bit. Possession-based authentication. Smart cards bring a higher level of security, but losing one could be trouble. Security tokens, while nifty, need top-notch algorithms and device integrity. Mobile authentication is convenient, but keep an eye out for SIM swapping and other tricks. Biometric authentication. Fingerprint and facial recognition brings high-level security, but watch out for fake fingerprints in photo or video spoofing. Retina iris scans, super secure if handled right. Voice recognition is cool, but changes in your voice and system vulnerabilities can be hiccups. Behavioral biometrics add an extra layer, but remember patterns can change. As we navigate this security landscape, it's essential to understand that no authentication method is foolproof on its own. Passwords can be cracked, physical tokens can be lost, and even biometrics, while incredibly secure, require careful implementation and protection. This is where multi-factor authentication becomes our cybersecurity ally. MFA isn't just about using two factors, it's about smartly combining factors from different categories to create a robust defense against unauthorized access. So why should your small business hop on the MFA train? Let me break it down for you. Firstly, reduced risk of unauthorized access. Even if a sneaky cyber intruder cracks a password, they'd still need that extra something like a mobile device or biometric data to break into your digital fortress. It's like having a secret handshake that changes every time. Secondly, mitigation of credential theft. MFA throws a curveball at cybervillains. If they snag a password, it's not game over. Without that second factor, the bad guys can't make it past the virtual gates. We're turning stolen passwords into useless puzzle pieces. Next, enhanced security for remote access. With remote work on the rise, MFA becomes your security sidekick. It's that extra layer of protection when your team accesses crucial systems or data from various locations. Consider it your virtual security guard for the remote work era. Also, protection against phishing. Phishing attacks can be tricky, but MFA adds an extra layer of skepticism. Even if someone accidentally spills their password to a phishing site, the cyber trickster is left stranded without that second factor. Finally, compliance requirements. If your business dances to the tune of regulatory standards, we're looking at you, PCI DSS and HIPAA. MFA is the star of the show. Many of these standards recommend or outright demand MFA to keep your business on the right side of security and protect sensitive info. Remember, it's not just about securing your accounts, it's about safeguarding your digital identity in an interconnected world. Now, something that I've heard concerningly often is the idea that no one would be able to get into my computers anyway. This is entirely not true, so I wanted to shed a little light on some of the risks that are out there and could occur anywhere. Passwords, your first line of defense, can be cracked at different speeds depending on their complexity and the tools attackers use. Simple passwords fall like dominoes in seconds during brute force attacks, but complex ones, with a mix of uppercase, lowercase numbers, and special characters, take significantly longer. Now, let's dive into the treacherous realm of Wi-Fi. Unsecured Wi-Fi networks. You know, the one that you log onto at the hotel or the mall when you need to access the internet, but don't have good cell service. These can be breeding grounds for malicious activities. Man-in-the-middle attacks may intercept your data, session hijacking might grant unauthorized access, physical access to tokens could spell trouble, and Wi-Fi sniffing might expose your communication vulnerabilities. There are tons of other attacks that can be encountered on the web, but these can happen even without you opening a browser. You connect to the free internet and your information has been compromised.
Now, all of this might seem like a lot, and some of it's kind of scary, but don't worry. Here are some tested strategies to help you stay safe.
Use encrypted connections. Encrypt your communication with authentication servers, especially when dealing with sensitive info over Wi-Fi. Secure your computer. Fortify your device with strong passwords, regular software updates, firewalls, and antivirus programs. Avoid unsecured Wi-Fi networks. Steer clear of unsecured networks. And if you must brave the public Wi-Fi storm, wield a virtual private network VPN for added encryption. Finally, if you brandish physical tokens like smart cards, guard them like precious artifacts. Physical security is the key to possession-based authentication's effectiveness. Remember that security is a united front. Combining these tactics creates a robust defense against cyber threats, ensuring your digital kingdom remains safe and sound. So, gear up, stay vigilant, and let's conquer the cybersecurity battlefield together.
In our compliance corner this week, we're going to talk about updating your mobile device. Everyone's got one. Is yours up to date? I know a lot of people who think, yeah, tinfoil hats. I'm not going to update because they track this or they track that, or I like the way my phone is with this version of the software. You know what? All those things are great. And if you're not into compliance, if you don't have a compliance obligation, go for it. But I'll tell you, if you don't keep things up to date, you're not compliant with virtually any regulation out there. If your phone is going to hit your Wi-Fi and you think, well, I don't use it for business, but it hits your Wi-Fi, very important that that phone stays up to date. Otherwise, your phone could be hacked and that could initiate a hack into your environment that is compliance related. So a couple different aspects from that point of view. Also, if you're not patched on your phone, you are open to vulnerabilities. You've seen the hacks out there where Paris Hilton photos exposed. They do that basically through two methods. One is it wasn't patched to the current level. I've seen those. I've seen the actual hacks where someone attends a cybersecurity event and they didn't have the latest patch, and as part of the presentation, they hack them real time. This is out there. It's very possible. If you don't know how to do it, that doesn't mean anything, because there are people out there that do. So stay patched. The other way they access those photos from Paris Hilton or name your favorite celebrity is they have Bluetooth enabled. If you have compromising photos on your phone that you don't want other people to see, then you need to harden your device. That might be just as simply as turning off Bluetooth, but it is not by not updating your phone. You need those updates. I realize the government may be tracking you, and Apple, Android, Samsung, whoever is tracking. You really don't have a choice if you want to stay secure. We can talk about securing your data from those vendors as well, but that's a different topic. Thank you for joining us today for CyberSafe News and Views. In the digital age, protecting your business isn't just a choice, it's a responsibility. Stay vigilant, invest wisely, keep your digital frontier safe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave us a comment down below. We answer all questions. If you found this content valuable, please share, like, and subscribe. Until next time, stay cyber safe.